Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. I want to thank you very much for coming out tonight, sitting down, relaxing, and having a wonderful evening, I hope. Tonight, we're going to have a celebration. Despite all the drama and all the hoopla that has been going on around Summer Wells missing, we're getting back to the basics because the basics is exactly where we need to be. But as I always like to start my nights, we're going to have a couple other cases we're going to mention here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I want to thank everybody. Thank you very, very much for your patience and you coming out tonight. I know it has been a long time since I have been live. It unfortunately happens every year. The kind of work I do, the job I do, I have to let it take precedence during certain times of the year, mainly during the fall, going into the winter. I do have to take a hiatus. I usually try to remind people in August, and September that that's coming up. So I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Oreo, I saw you say hello. Miss Justice, thank you very much. CP Cosplay and Carrie, always, 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 thank you very much for being supportive. Who said what? Thank you very much for coming out. Look, guys, we're going to be light tonight. We're going to be light for a few nights. It's going to take a while for everybody to get back into the habit of coming in and hearing what I have to say. Or if they're not, they're going to catch me on a replay. So if you are part of the replay group, I want to thank you for joining us. Everybody hears me okay? Just making sure. Before we continue on, I want to make sure everybody hears me good. All right. I heard myself when I brought up YouTube just now, so I know you guys can hear me. And I'm going to go back to the studio here. So great. Thank you very much, Carrie. I appreciate you letting me know. Oreo, thank you as well. So we're going to start off with talking about a couple of old cases. And guys, this one case that we're going to mention right now tells you how dedicated I am and that never fear, even though it may be getting into that hiatus point, like I said, during the fall and winter, beginning part of winter, that I have to go take a break and step away from YouTube. I am dedicated to being here until at least February, March 2025. Why can I give you that exact date or that exact time period? Because Evelyn Boswell's trial will be happening in 2025. In December, if you have missed it, her case was pushed back because there was a change in defense attorney. Miss Boswell, the mother, had stopped communicating with her lawyer, requested a change of her lawyer, her appointed lawyer, and refused to communicate with her lawyer any longer. It caused a bunch of problems in her case. A new attorney was appointed, and they had to push the case back till February 3rd, 2025. So we are still waiting, watching, and closely for justice for Evelyn. We're also still following Monkey, Michael Vaughn. Yes, even though I was away, I was watching, and I can thank Carrie and CP Cosplay a lot, because if I wasn't able to make a talk to them about it, if they heard something, they made sure it got brought to my attention. That if there was an update on something that they know we had been following, they were on it. They made sure I knew about it. And thank you, Carrie. Always, 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 please make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you have not had done so already. This channel will never be monetized, so your hitting that subscribe button and like button means everything to me. We also have Lily Peters, which happened, I believe it was March 24th. off the top of my head, about 9 months ago, or going on 9 months. We're still following that, even though that has sealed record. We're still watching for information to come out about what her cousin did. And then we have also another case that's going to be coming to trial. Forgive me, I'm drawing a mental blank on her name. She was, I want to say, 14 years old. And Carrie and Cosplay are going to know it and come up with the name for me in just a moment, I'm sure, because I cannot remember it at all. We were just talking about her yesterday. I had found a clip on, if you had not seen it, with Law and Order, their YouTube channel. I'm looking at her picture, but I cannot remember her name. Who was taken into the woods with a older teenager, or it's a classmate rather. I apologize, not older, classmate of hers, and who had stabbed her 114 times. 114 times. Forgive me, guys. I apologize if it was on my mind earlier today. Her name, and I cannot remember it off the top of my head. Tristan Bailey. That's the girl's name. Tristan Bailey. The trial happens this week. So we are closely watching that, and we will be commenting on that as the week goes on, because yes, I am back. And I'm ready. But tonight is about Summer Wells. Guys, look, there has been a lot going on. And none of it, with the exception of a handful of channels, has been about what happened to Summer Wells. When I left, when I had to take my hiatus, we were about what happened to Summer Wells, following the other cases as well. We were about what happened to Summer Wells. What happened June 15th, almost 20 months ago. And now, granted, I'm sure the police have made some progress, but they cannot publicly say what that progress is. The information we know, and if you use the words of her parents exactly as they say, Summer got gone. Summer got gone. Today would have been her 7th birthday. And yes, I intentionally say would have. I'm not saying she is 7. It would have been her 7th birthday. She would be in first grade at this point. She would have been celebrating her with her classmates. She should have been celebrating with her classmates, having a party that a 7-year-old princess should have. But instead, excuse me, but instead, we only have more questions than we have answers. What happened to Summer? In the time that I had been away, Don Wells had gotten released from prison. He seems like he has sobered up. But the statements he makes now, when you compare them to what happened or what he said early in the investigation, in the first year of the investigation, exactly, Carrie, only lead to more questions than answers. Absolutely, Carrie. She should be riding that big yellow school bus. Absolutely. Let that sink in for a minute. She should have been getting up in the mornings. I'm not going to pretend or say that CPS should have been involved. From everything we've heard about the home and seen about the home from the Chris McDonough video and everything we have heard about the conditions, whether they're speculation, rumor, or the truth, evidence shows that the children would have been taken. The conditions of that home were not suitable for children. I am the first person that says that when you get out into where they live in Beach Creek community, out in Sullivan County, it gets country quick. You get up in the mountain areas in the Appalachian, and life is different. It's not a city life. It's a life where people will go and on a Sunday afternoon they'll go hunting or on their day off they'll go hunting. Carrie, thank you very much. This content is a discussion, and discussion is all opinionated, allegedly, and for entertainment purposes only. Thank you, Carrie, for reminding me to say that. But I'm just trying to give you an idea of what life in the Appalachian is growing up. When you're out in these counties, out in the outer areas, it's not the same as it is in the cities. Tri-Cities, when anybody says Tri-Cities, on a physical map, it's an upside down triangle. Upper left-hand corner, you got Kingsport. Upper right-hand corner, you got Bristol. And on the southern point, you have Johnson City. And you have small communities in and around the area, with the exception of Bluntville. They're small communities. So the life of a person that you hear and the things that you hear online, where her toy, her place to be was on a tire swing, or was to go down to if somebody were to say if they went down to the creek and they went fishing or swimming in the creek, that would be common. There are two things that always stuck out to me about Summer Wells' disappearance is that why did they go to that location for that swimming hole on June 15th? And the only thing I can ever think of was the privacy that that area would have given. I'm not saying something happened there. I'm not trying to say that there was something set up there. I'm simply saying that it offered a unique uh, uh, privacy compared to other areas that people would more commonly go swimming in the Tri Cities. Just think about all the normal things, things a 7-year-old girl would enjoy that Summer Wells will never experience. Simple as it be, skipping rope, jumping rope, wearing a dress on that first day of school, being kindergarten, first grade, growing up and never being able to get married. Now, I know I'm saying depressing, sad things, but at the same time as you got to remember and celebrate Summer Wells tonight. You got to remember all these things that she'll never be able to do. And that it will only leaves the question of who is to blame? Who is to blame for her missing out on these opportunities? Whether she's a tomboy and plays it. When I was a little kid, and when my son was a little kid, he had a big yellow Tonka truck. Hey, he could push around. It was like a dump truck. She was a tomboy. She might have enjoyed playing with a Tonka truck for all we know. But when I look at her and I see pictures of her, I honestly think she was a little princess. Summer Wells isn't just exactly, exactly, Carrie. You get my point exactly. Going on her first school trip, riding a bike, all of those things that you have to learn when you're a child. Although I do think she did ride a bike. I think I remember a story or seen a picture of her somewhere about her riding a bicycle. Or was it that she would chase the boys as they rode around on a bicycle? Got to get back to the basics. The only thing that matters still today, no matter all the other drama that is going on YouTube, again, with outside of a handful of channels, and I mean handful of channels. If you heard, I don't know if anybody did or didn't hear the lab the other night. Yeah. That's exactly what Miss Justice is exactly what I'm saying. I think I remember I saw on a pink bike at one time. But yes, there was a story that keeps getting repeated about the her being chasing her brothers around on bicycles. Yeah. So I'm not going to say that she couldn't ride a bike. She probably did. Hello, Kiki's Eyes. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we are, if you since you are just joining us, we are remembering some fun stories and memories of Summer Wells, of what we've seen, what we've been able to witness about her through videos and people's story telling, because Summer would have been 7 years old today, because that's what matters today. Of all days, and all days to for the family, that a person that has been a witness or has information that they didn't think it was important, this is the day. of all days that it is important to say, hey, the 7 year old little girl or little girl that should have been 7 years old is still missing. And that information leading to her being found for closure purposes, for anything and everything to draw the case to a conclusion, today is more important than any other day for that person to come forward and speak up. I'm going to touch more on drama and things like that on another day. I was just mentioning the lab a moment ago. If you haven't seen what happened in the lab, I believe it was Thursday night, I would encourage anybody to go back and listen to it. Because there's a few things that jumped out at me in that interview. And I'm going to talk about them, but we're not going to dwell on them. That's going to be for another time. Whether it be a slip, so to speak, a Freudian slip, or an intentional slip, oftentimes a person will come out with truth when they don't expect to speak it. Yes, Miss Justice, I've been following along quite a bit, but I'm specifying on one detail. On the lab, Don Wells said he was 45, 50 miles away. Where up until that day, it has always been 45, 50 minutes. He said on Thursday he was 45 to 50 miles away. Cosplay, thank you very much for throwing that link up there. Yes, please check out the lab. Go back to Thursday night. Listen to what Don Wells in his tirade. Miss Justice, I don't think this is a matter of math. I think this is a matter of he had liquid courage of some sort, whether it's injectable or drinkable, and he stuck to a script for the first year. And Thursday night, and I know this is not. And yes, I mean to repeat it that many times. I was not stuttering. It was not the intention of Josh over at the lab to sit there and fluster, to bombard, to do anything to confuse Don Wells. It was simply they were trying to get to the truth. And instead of saying, "Oh, I was a half an hour away. I was in Jonesboro." That takes about 30 minutes. It's a 20-mile trip. Jonesboro is less than 20 miles. or approximately 20 miles. I'll give the benefit of the doubt and say 20 miles because I'm not looking at a map right now. Because if you go back roads, sometimes it can take a little, it might be quicker, but it will actually take mileage wise longer. He was 45 to 50 miles away from what he said Thursday night. That puts you, if you're taking the highways, that's going to put you down in Greenville, which is below Johnson City, or that's going to put you about uh, just outside of, I believe it's Sevierville on your way to Knoxville. That doesn't put you in Jonesboro. That doesn't even put you at the boss's house. So where was he on June 15th is a question. But like I said, even though we're talking about Summer Wells and we're getting back to the basics of June 15th and what happened on June 15th, we're going to talk about all that in another time. I'm just right now saying there's still a lot of questions about what actually happened on June 15th. Hello, Rain. Nice to see you again. Thank you for coming in. Oh, I'm sorry that happened. Who said what? Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of control to, and I don't know Josh well enough to. I'm just would be just like you. If I went in there and he didn't like what I said, would block me as well. Getting back to the basics. We know that Summer on June 15th had been taken to a few places. The Walmart. She was at the hospital. Not in the hospital, but at the hospital because for her grandmother. And I'm not telling these items in order. She was at the park playing to go swimming. Candace would just tell the truth about everything that happened that day. It would be a major help to find Summer and helping find Summer. Exactly. Do not believe, and I'm going to make a comparison right here, right now. That Candace Wells is the same thing. It's the same person. And if you're religious, the same spirit as Patsy Ramsey. If you're not familiar with her name, it's JonBenét Ramsey's mother. I believe that JonBenét Ramsey is never going to be solved because her mother did it. And took that information to her grave. No matter what class somebody would have been, no matter how much money the person had, it ended up being the same thing. There was an element of jealousy over a child. One of the things I've said about the Wells family is that they they celebrated androgyny. It was a male hierarchy. No matter what age, it was very old school family hierarchy, however you wish to say it. The males were more important than the females. And if you had what society considered to be good looking, your future was not great in that family. However, if you were more androgynous looking, having features of no discerning features, major discerning features of male or female, very plain Jane average, they celebrated that woman as being a potential of a mother and having a place in society, but not if you had good looks. You can tell by looking at a child, and I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody that has a child. Sometimes you can just tell by the bone structure of a child growing up that child, that female child, and please do not think that I am trying to be gross, disgusting, that I'm trying to look at a child like that. You could just tell that that child's going to grow up to be a beautiful woman, or you can tell that that child's going to be grow up to be an average looking woman, males included. It's in the bone structure. I know that might be sounding weird to some people, but I promise you it's purely innocent and just an innocent statement. You know, Kiki, you're right. Ultimately, it is for God to be judge and jury. However, in the Old Testament, and I'm not trying to be religious, God gave man the right to judge one another and be a jury over one another, the govern about above laws, govern of law, be the governor of people by laws, and and it's continue on through history. So yes, that is biblical, that we do have that ability, but but at the same time, to gossip about somebody is not what we're meant to do. I will say that. Nothing I do on this channel is meant to be gossip. If you, for those who have been around for a while, usually I do not get involved in drama. Because drama only dilutes the facts and importance of this in this situation. Summer Wells being missing, or any other the other cases I follow, we pay attention and we talk about. It only dilutes the truth. Thank you, who said what. I appreciate you saying that. It's not weird. I was simply making a point. I appreciate you understanding that. The thing about Summer Wells is it's not just Summer Wells. Tonight we're celebrating her birthday. We're talking about her. We're celebrating. We're memorializing her. Remembering the basics of what happened. But it doesn't stop at Summer Wells. I can't talk about every single case of a missing child or a missing person or a crime that happened. Guys, I don't talk about the Idaho 4, but I was watching and paying attention to what was going on. We can't possibly talk about every single case, but Summer Wells struck a chord. And I believe that chord actually is more representative of not just Summer Wells, but all kids that don't make national media. The days of the events on June 15th were they they took Grandis grandma to the emergency room, and it was not so much that they were emergency situation, but let's keep in mind that back then, Summer Wells, it was during the whole pandemic. Things got crazy. Things got crazy. You have to forgive me. I'm actually trying to pull up a video real quick. If you didn't know, back on June 15th, this past year, I was given the opportunity with help from Carrie to go around the different places in Kingsport because I don't drive and get a firsthand feel and look at these places. This is some places that I would have never normally gone to myself. And I have a video as soon as I can find it. If I can find it. Let's see here. Bear with me a moment, guys. I appreciate your patience with me. I was not planning on doing this, so I didn't have it queued up already. I appreciate your patience with me. Okay, I will have to try to get this into this my other YouTube account later for where I make videos and things like that. It's not I'm not letting me log in, but I had done a video showing and I don't remember its title, so I can't search for it. My own mistake. I should have wrote it down somewhere. Where I was showing different places around Kingsport that they had gone that day. And the one video I'm thinking about right now was I was the point I'm wanting to make is that I don't believe and I never believed that it was natural for Candace to be a mom. You can just tell, ladies, you'll understand what I mean, and you probably will agree that you can just tell a parent when a parent goes to a playground or a parent is out in the public with their child. And yes, I'm gearing this to moms right at the moment, but dads have the same thing. It's either natural for them to be a parent or it's not. Thank you, cosplay, for saying that again. Once again, it's you can tell just by seeing the interaction that a 30-second interaction with the child, whether you know that it's natural for that person to be a parent or not. I never had an inclination that Candace Wells was natural to be a parent. In the video, I had had gone to the hospital because during the pandemic, most doctors' offices were either operating out of a clinic setting or they were renting office space out of a hospital. Persons, unless you had an appointment with, restrictions as they were, that you had to clear those restrictions before you could be seen by the prescriber, by a doctor. You sent it to me. No, that's not the video I was looking for. I was looking for the one where we were at the hospital. I don't believe this is it. If it is on here, I apologize because I don't know exactly where it is in the video, but I will definitely find the videos again. I appreciate that cosplay and care. I really, really do. But you could tell that the parking lot, it's for a hospital. It's a small hospital. There was no place for a child to be entertained in any shape or form. And they would not have been able to go into the hospital at the time. And I'm being told 59 minutes. Let me take a look here. Bear with me just a couple seconds here. Yep. Okay, that is actually it. All right. So bear with me a moment. I'm going to share this video. I'm going to have it muted. So I'm going to talk over it. So bear with me just a moment. This was from a live that I had done. The live is named June 15th, part 2. So I'm going to just go ahead and share this video with you guys right now. The important thing of not what I'm saying in this video, but it's important just to take a look at what the parking lot was like. Remember, I'm saying that it's not natural for Candace Wells to be a parent. You're stuck in a vehicle in a parking lot. at this hospital. Where this vehicle is sitting is halfway through the parking lot. The equal number of spaces that are in front of us are the equal number of spaces to our left and our right and behind us. Okay. This right here is where they would have gone for the hospital visit. Do I believe the story that has come out since then that has been changed, mind you? Thank you very much, Carrie, for getting me that information, that in that link in that timestamp. The story has changed. This is what I'm saying. We got to get back to the basics because the basics are where the answer is. Forgive me if I say this right, but wrong. But I believe I will say it in a way that everybody will understand. If you ever heard of Occam's razor, whatever is the most simplest of explanations must be the truth. When you dig through all the information that has changed, because now it's come out that they picked up Hunter before they went to the hospital because Hunter was bugging his mom, Allie. But back then, the story was the opposite. After dropping Grandma off at the hospital, they went and got Hunter. The infamous saying of the devil's in the devil's in the details. Got to get back to the basics on this. And that's not just for our channel. And when I say our channel, I do include everybody that comes in and listens and contributes. It's for everybody that follows Summer Wells. As I started off tonight, I said, I had to take a hiatus, but I never stopped following what was going on. It's very disturbing how this is everything that's going on for the most part on YouTube has degraded into being, for the most part, nothing but drama. If somehow, some way that this lands up being viewed by the Wells family, where is Summer? What happened to Summer on June 15th? That is the most critical question that somebody has to answer. And yes, it starts with the Wells family stepping up and start answering questions honestly. Because I do not believe they have done so yet. I like Chris McDonough. I'm not a huge fan of Chris McDonough. I don't watch every single video he makes. Some of them I find very relevant. Some of them I don't. I don't have the time for. Just like any other YouTube creator. Just being honest. When it comes down to what Chris McDonough says is the most important thing about Summer Wells' disappearance, is there's nothing that has ever led you off of 110 Ben Hill Road. There is no proof of anything other than Summer disappeared. Robbed of growing up to be an adult and seeing the full potential of being the adult she could have been. That's the only truth we know. If you followed my channel since I started covering, and my covering goes back to almost on YouTube, it goes back to almost June 15th, where I actually privately started paying attention to what was going on with Summer Wells. And then I was convinced, because we were discussing it in another channel. Miss Cosplay, thank you very much. I jokingly say I blame you, but I really do not. You know that. Where Miss Cosplay was part of a panel, knew I had known a lot about what was going on, encouraged me to go up and speak on that channel. And I had done so with a couple other channels in between until I started my own channel. So for my history, my own history of knowing Summer Wells' case, it was from the 911 dispatch call. As it happened on June 15th. As it happened on June 15th. When that call came out, it did take some time for police officers, however you want to refer to them, to report to 110 Ben Hill Road. But there's one interesting little piece of information that everybody almost misses. There was a cop car, a cop unit, police officer patrolling on one of the hollers. When that call came in, immediately, as quick as he could, he got off of that side street and started patrolling up and down Beach Creek Road. So while some channels are making an issue saying the police never responded and it took 45 minutes, it took 3 minutes. The first officer to arrive was patrolling and searching from his vehicle. The staging started happening at 45 minutes after the call. But one officer was going up and down every street, every side street, up and down Beach Creek Road, with no sign of Summer Wells. No sign, reportedly, signs of other vehicles on Beach Creek Road. At the time that she was reported missing. One of the little caveats that the police have and the FBI have actually, I believe it was Ronnie Lawson, the sheriff's office, one of the little caveats of information that they intentionally let leak outside of what that FBI press release. And I believe that this was broken on Ziggy. And I don't doubt it for 1 second. From the time that they came from downtown Kingsport back to their home, evidence was that by around 2:30 in the afternoon, till the time that the 911 call happened, there is a huge gap in time where nobody mysteriously knows anything about what happened. In the 911 call, it makes reference to the mother went for a run. The dispatch call. When I say 911 call, I do mean the dispatch call, folks. Just so we're on the same page here. It makes reference to the mother went for a run. What if that was to run an errand to a convenience store? Or and left the kids, the boys and Summer at home with Grandis? What if that was the truth? And something happened in that time frame. I have my own theories and I have my own beliefs of what did happen that day. But the further out that we get from what happened June 15th, 20 months ago, almost 20 months ago, is the more you begin to question. Miss Justice? Exactly. The longer that we've gotten away from that 20 months ago, or nearly 20 months ago, is the more the things get questioned and mulled over in my head. I still want to believe that the parents are innocent. That the parents did not go and do a malicious act to their own child. I want to believe it. I hope that's not the case. I hope that my gut instinct was that child got the child got ill in a manner that it was tragic. And if you guys follow me back a year or more ago, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to focus on that tonight. We'll get back to that another night. It still bothers me. Right. Cosplay. Exactly right. Both walk and run were said in dispatch call. Although when walk was stated, it also said returned home, which leaves a speculation that she left the property. Absolutely. She I believe that she left that property in that 3-hour window at least twice. At least twice. But the proof is still that from the time they left downtown Kingsport and returned home, it locks you back into the 110 Ben Hill Road address. With absolutely nothing proving two things. Summer actually arrived there alive or left there. You cannot get off of 110 Ben Hill Road. For as much as I want to believe the parents are innocent, the more information that comes out and the inconsistencies of what they're saying now compared to then make you scratch your head and go, wait a minute, that's not what you said back when. And it shoots holes into everything that we know about what happened that day. I did this at the beginning. I believe it was June I did this. And I know people like to watch the drama channels, and I will be the first person to say, when it comes to the drama channels, that they're like a blind squirrel finding an acorn. You have to take what they say with a grain of salt because they may find one nugget of information that they're going to claim is a brand new piece of information that nobody else has ever talked about. And they're going to run wild with it. And they're going to throw conspiracy theory. They're going to throw their drama. They're going to throw anything to make it a bigger story than sometimes it is. I hate to say it, but sometimes you do have to pay attention to what they're saying. As much as I did like to, as I did back in June, I wish we could just focus on the channels that are talking about Summer Wells. But the parents will not talk about Summer Wells. They're dishonoring their daughter's memory leading up to their birthday, her birthday today, and leading up to the 20-month anniversary come in just over a week. They've continued to make it about they are the victim. The only victim in this is Summer. The only victim is Summer. Miss Justice, that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. If Don Wells could control his temper and sit down and actually have a conversation about his daughter, I think that it would be mind blowing. But he can't. He won't. Because it takes the focus off of them and making every single statement possible to prove they are innocent and they're the perfect little family and all the other the stories that they may want to try to put out on YouTube. We are going to get into that another night. We will be hitting Summer Wells case this week heavy, leading up into the 20-month anniversary, where I'm gonna rehash, and guys, forgive me, I'm gonna put it out there right now. We're gonna rehash not only the full details of what happened from June 14th, because you have to include June 14th, because Don Wells said it starts on June 14th when they went to bed, and the sleeping arrangement that they were in. Through the end of the day on June 15th. I haven't forgotten the detail of what happened. But yeah, Miss Justice, I as much as we can try, I'm not sure we will ever will. I'm not sure the police will ever will make sense of what happened. And it's not on a single person on YouTube that's been talking about Summer Wells. I've mentioned her name more times than I've ever heard her parents say her name tonight in this live. They struggled to say my daughter, let alone her name, Summer Wells. Every word, every other word, no matter what the question they're being asked, if it's a personal question to them, their answer should always be, this is not about me. This is about my daughter, Summer Wells, being missing still. It's the only thing that matters. That's it. Every single question begins and ends with Summer Wells. We don't know what happened to Summer Wells. We want to know what happened to my daughter. If they came out and started doing that, wow, I would change my opinion. But they can't and they won't. I didn't plan on being very long tonight, guys. I wanted to say I'm back. I am focused on Summer Wells. Today has been a day of Summer Wells being on my mind. It's her birthday. As a person that wants to actually find the truth about what happens or hear what happened to Summer Wells, no matter how disturbing the truth may be, I want to know what happened to Summer Wells. Like I said, guys, I didn't plan on coming on here very long tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I'm going to drop if anybody wants to join me and has any questions or anything of that like that, and they want to put it in the chat real quick so we can talk about that. I'll give you guys a few moments to do so. This is still all about Summer Wells. Her should have been her 7th birthday. It should not have taken this long. I'm not saying the police are doing anything wrong. I want to be very clear about that. No matter what the controversy is over who's related to who and so on and this so forth, I don't blame the police. With everything that's happened in the past almost 20 months, they've had a lot to deal with. Rain, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I am not a person that can sing. There may have been a time where I tried and studied music, but I cannot sing. I had laryngitis for too long, and 1 year, and I just couldn't sing anymore. Had laryngitis for almost 2 months, I think it was. It wasn't viral. It wasn't the being sick. It just I didn't have a voice. Couldn't. My voice was not good. My throat was not good. And but if I could sing, I'd be singing "Happy Birthday" to Summer tonight. We are going to build back up. I want to thank everybody that did come out and join and say hi and come back alive. We're going to build up and we're going to be bigger and stronger than we were before. We are also going to, like I said, this upcoming week we will have a lot going on because we will have the Tristan Bailey to talk about as her trial starts this week. And we're going to have also we're going to be talking more about Summer this week. I will probably be back on Tuesday and possibly on Thursday this week. Cosplay, thank you very much. Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Last seen at her house on Beach Creek in the Beach Creek community on June 15th, 2021. Any information, please send to 1-800-TBI-FIND or go to their website or go to their social media and report it. Even if you report something that you remember, or I'm not do not go and repeat what you hear on social media. Social media, at this point, it's too diluted with information. If you had information back then, you've never called and said something, do it now. Let them decide how relevant it is and if they need to pursue it. But do not go off of what somebody says on social media. I want to thank everybody coming out tonight once again. Happy birthday, Summer. Your thoughts of you are always with us. We're getting back to the basics of what happened to you, even though others will not. Guys, I know I normally talk for a longer time. It's going on. It's 9:50 where I live, going on 10 o'clock, might as well say. As I like to say every night, do you know who your children are tonight? No matter how old they are, make sure they know that you love them. Give them a hug. Give them an extra hug, because they need to know that you love them and that they are important to you. Good night, guys. I will be back again short in a little while, in a couple days, but I hope to talk to you again.